When we think about life on Earth, we usually imagine three separate worlds: land, the oceans, and the sky. And today, if you look up, the creature you are most likely to see is almost always a bird. With more than 10,000 species, birds are among the most successful groups of vertebrates in evolutionary history. Even though in some places bats dominate the air on a global scale, birds are the true rulers of the sky. This dominance has lasted for almost the entire Cenozoic era, the age of birds and mammals. But if we rewind time even further, before birds ever existed, who truly ruled the skies? The answer takes us back to an era few people ever think about. Before birds appeared, and even before flying reptiles, Earth's skies were ruled by something else entirely. During the Mesozoic era, pterosaurs dominated the air, with wingspans far exceeding any bird that has ever lived. Some species stood as tall as giraffes when on the ground, creating a scene both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Yet on the scale of Earth's history, both birds and pterosaurs arrived relatively late. Life has existed on this planet for over 1 billion years, and for most of that time, Earth was already filled with visible, complex organisms. That raises a simple but haunting question. If you stood on Earth hundreds of millions of years ago and looked up at the sky, what would you see? The answer lies even deeper in the past, before the most familiar flying icons ever appeared. Weigeltisauridae, an extinct family of reptiles, were the first vertebrates to truly enter the aerial realm. They appeared in the late Permian, around 260 million years ago. Unlike birds or pterosaurs, their wings did not evolve from the forelimbs. Instead, elongated ribs extended sideways, stretching a membrane of skin to create a gliding surface. They could not flap their wings. They could only control their descent through the air. Roughly the size of a modern crow, they were still the largest animals ever seen in the sky at that time. In a world with no flying animals, their presence was unprecedented. Weigeltisauridae spent most of their time clinging to tree trunks, watching their surroundings. Their diet consisted mainly of insects living in trees and on the forest floor. In a world without flight, their prey had no way to escape upward. From above, they launched themselves in short but precise glides. Their narrow, sharp teeth revealed that they were specialized insect hunters. Gliding allowed them to reach prey faster than any other animal of their time. In the late Permian, they were the dominant vertebrates of the upper forest canopy. Weigeltisauridae were widespread across the supercontinent Pangaea, but their world did not last. At the end of the Permian, Earth experienced the greatest mass extinction in its history. The collapse of forests and insects stripped them of their food sources. Weigeltisauridae did not survive this catastrophe. Nature's first experiment with aerial vertebrates came to an end, leaving the skies empty for millions of years. After the end Permian disaster, life on Earth began a slow recovery. New forests formed, but they were shorter and less stable. In this environment, another group of reptiles took to the air. Although their wing structure was similar, they were not direct descendants of Weigeltisauridae. Anatomical studies show they evolved independently. Gliding allowed them to move efficiently through sparse forests. Coelurosauravus lived in Europe and North America during the Triassic period. Some species reached wingspans close to 1 meter, larger than their Permian predecessors. However, not all of them were effective gliders, and by the end of the Triassic, Coelurosauravus also vanished from history. But long before gliding reptiles, the sky had already known true rulers. They were insects, the first organisms to truly dominate the air. The earliest flying insects appeared around 400 million years ago during the Devonian period. At that time, plants were only beginning to colonize land. One of the oldest known examples is Rhyniognatha hirsti. It was small and harmless, at least at first. But that was about to change dramatically. After the Devonian came the Carboniferous period, a hot, humid, low-lying world where vast swamps covered the continents. Atmospheric oxygen levels were far higher than today, and these conditions produced an extraordinary result. Insects did not just diversify, they became gigantic. Some species matched, or even exceeded, the size of many modern birds. For millions of years, the sky truly belonged to them. Among the most remarkable inhabitants of the Carboniferous skies were plant-eating insects. They are known as Paleontology. At first glance, they resembled enormous mayflies, but up close, their size was truly overwhelming. Some species, such as Mesothyros, had wingspans exceeding half a meter. However, they were not hunters, with beak-like mouthparts. Paleontology fed by sucking fluids from plant tissues. Their success was so great that in many ecosystems, they made up most of the animal biomass. But not all inhabitants of the Carboniferous sky were harmless. Some insects began to use the air not just for movement, but for hunting. They belonged to the order Meganosoptera, often called griffin flies. With 4 powerful wings, they controlled the air with precision. They could change direction instantly, pursuing prey mid-flight. The sky was no longer a safe place. For smaller creatures, Meganosoptera were a threat from above. For the first time, insects became true aerial predators. But even the rulers of the sky do not last forever. At the end of the Carboniferous, Earth began to change. The climate became drier and cooler, and the swamp forests collapsed. This event is known as the Carboniferous rainforest collapse. With the disappearance of forests, giant insects lost their ecological foundation. Oxygen levels fell, and their size advantage disappeared. The former rulers of the air slowly vanished, and the sky once again waited for new successors. When giant insects disappeared, the sky was left without a dominant force. But the more important question remains: who was truly the first apex predator to master flight? Gliding reptiles like Weigeltisauridae were pioneers, but not rulers. Giant flying insects were true masters, but only in a very different world. As the world changed, so did the meaning of apex predator, and that was when true aerial hunters finally appeared. No longer just gliding, but flying, hunting, and controlling 3-dimensional space. From that moment on, the sky entered an entirely new era. But to reach that age, the sky had to change its rulers many times